Double H has been making boots right here in the US for decades, and I found one of these old Double H boots on eBay that has some unique styling in a mock toe. I'm super excited that I found this on eBay for $45, and we're gonna give this boot an extended test to see how they hold up today. So let's get into it.
I'm just here to connect ya, and then I'll be on my way.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeremiah Craig. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please subscribe and always like and comment down below. I always like looking for slightly used boots on secondhand marketplaces. Shopgoodwill.com, eBay, Poshmark, you name it, because you can find some awesome prices and unique styles too that really aren't popular anymore in the mainstream. I saw this one first at Circle B Western Wear in Brockport, New York, but they just didn't have my size there. So a few weeks ago, I was perusing eBay in my size of 12B, and this one popped up on the second page and I needed to get it. So I bought it up for $45 without shipping, and it looks like they were maybe worn a couple of times. So they're not perfectly new. They still have a little bit of creasing here in the toe, but maybe it was a week's worth of wear. So I am super happy with this find, and I'm really excited to get into an extended test. But first, we have to break down the details, and you know how it goes. We do that with the rundown. Yes, this is Double H boots, model number 1608, and it features full grain leather on the foot counter and the shaft with a medium round toe. Classic toe shape, I absolutely love it, but this one has a unique design in that it has a mock toe, and it is a super unique design that you don't really see at all nowadays, which is why I was drawn to this boot in the first place at Circle B Western Wear, and I'm so excited that I was able to find my true size on eBay just perusing one day. It comes in at 12 inches tall, and the top is very simple, but you also have that sort of mock toe design in the top on the front as well. Down here for a heel, we have a 1.5 inch composite heel, and for an outsole, it features a rubber outsole. This is before the days of Double H's famous ice outsole, and it's on there with a Goodyear welt, so if I happen to run through this rubber outsole, then I can get them resoled with another rubber outsole by a local cobbler. On the inside, it's lined with leather, and it appears to be cowhide leather, super soft. Love to see it. And for an insole, we have a non-removable foam insole with a leather heel pad. These boots were made in the USA, and I got them off of eBay for $45, and shipping was like $20. So at the end of the day, $60 to $70, I think that's a pretty good price for a rare boot like this. Now let's try it on to see how it looks and feels. All right, I got on those Double H mock toe boots right now, and I am so happy. I'm so happy that I found these boots and that they fit just perfect. Wow, guys. The cool thing about Double H is that they used to do B widths. They used to do a lot of widths. They might still, but after the pandemic, they kind of stopped doing as many B widths in their Dylan boot. And it's kind of a shame that they did do that, but there's still a lot of boots out there with those narrow width sizes for guys who have narrow width feet. And this is my true size, 12B. I'd have to say it fits true, and the arch is perfect. That's the value of getting your true width size, is arch placement. So these are feeling great, and I'm so happy because they are such a unique boot. Let's pull these pants over to see how they look just wearing normal. I like the leather here. It's supple. Maybe because they've already been worn for like a week or so, you can kind of see some of the creases. but they're still practically new. I mean, the rubber outsole doesn't have any real wear to it at all. It's like somebody wore these for a week trying to break them in and then gave up because they were probably the wrong size. The box says 12D and the size inside the boot says 12B. So somebody probably made a mistake somewhere in the past and then confused a bunch of people, and they were probably purchased for a person with a 12D, and of course they are going to feel very constrained in a B width boot. D is wider, so there'd be no chance for a D width 12D to be comfortable in a 12B. Let me give you the POV of these boots. Check out that POV, such a unique look, very interesting. You're not gonna find very many boots like this out there nowadays. Some of you might think, hey, that's for good reason, Jeremiah, but you know what? I like this look a lot, and I'm looking forward to wearing these around. Whew. Speaking of fun, let's find some fun work to do for an extended test for these boots. Let's get it.
It was time to experience these classic Double H mock toe boots by helping out at Airy Acres Vineyard in Interlaken, New York. So I hopped in the Kubota with Noah, the winemaker, as we headed out to one of the vineyards for some prep work in the fields. Our job today is to tie down the vines to get them ready for the growing season.
So the reason we're tying down is we're prepping these vines for bud break in the new growing season. You can even see on here there's the little buds, and so those will shoot out and have the vines that you see when you come back in the summer, that they're big, like almost like bushes.
And the tricky part is, you have to do tie downs when it's still a little cold before the buds start to break. And since it is cold, the vines are stiff, so you have to be careful not to snap any during the process. I was so afraid to start bending these vines in the cold, but I took my time and slowly worked the vines into place to tie them down. It was so cold too, so I was happy that I wore my flannel-lined Wrangler 47 MWZ jeans. Tie-down continued slowly, so let's speed it up a little. Soon enough, I was getting the hang of it and could comfortably tie down vine after vine, which gave me time to love up Annabelle, the vineyard doggo. Once we finished up the rows for the day, it was time to head back to the shop and see the new tasting room they were building. This house was the home of Noah's grandparents. In fact, there was a small runway on the property, which is where the name Airy Acres comes from.
Bar here, the deck's gonna be out there, so that way like all the seats are out here. And upstairs, this is one of the original staircase. It's like overflow tasting space.
Yeah.
Slash private tasting room area. Obviously more windows, more great view.
With my work and tasting room tour over, it was time to head out with one last look before returning in the summer for a show I have booked. With a little editing magic, here it is. Now this is the time of year to visit a Finger Lakes winery. And of course, I'm still in my Double H boots. Just look at how the property and tasting room has taken shape. A beautiful indoor tasting area, complete with a bar made by Noah's brother-in-law, which is stocked with their amazing wines. Upstairs looks great too, with incredible views of the vineyard and Cayuga Lake. The outdoor deck is amazing too, and this is where I'll be playing my show, and it's the first show at the new tasting room space. So it was time to start setting up for 3 hours of music. A house down in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the fate of a many a poor girl and me. Oh God, I am one.
House of the Rising Sun.
What an incredible experience working and playing at Airy Acres Vineyard in these classic Double H boots.
I had a great time at Airy Acres, and a huge thanks to them for hosting me. If you want to see where I'm playing next, head on over to my website and hit that shows tab. Now let's close out the video with my final thoughts on this Double H 1608. Now I really like this mock toe style and this classic Double H boot. It's just something that you don't see, especially in mainstream styles today. I love it. It's so unique. I did contact Double H to see when this boot was made, but I hadn't heard back. I did hear from my buddy Tom Bircher, who is a cowboy with saddles and service. He mentioned that this was a popular style back in the 80s and 90s, and he even had a pair himself. But what makes this US-made Double H boot different from the newer US-made boots? Let's compare this to the Dylan. On the outside, the most obvious difference of this boot from the newer boots, like the Dylan, is the fact that this one doesn't have an ice outsole. So the Dylan has their ice outsole, which is known for, or at least marketed as being a very durable rubber outsole. This rubber on this old 1608, it isn't soft by any means, so I'm fine with a rubber outsole, just a regular one. It doesn't have to be trademarked, just as long as it's not too soft and can hold up on a pair of Western work boots. Also, both models, they both have composite heels. However, the heel cap on this older 1608 is much more average looking than the heel cap on the Dylan, which I'm fine with. It might actually make it a little bit easier to get these repaired by a local cobbler who will have several different types of average heel caps. When the Dylan heel cap is just enormous, they would probably have to special order those ones, and it might end up costing you a little bit more money to get them repaired. On the inside of this Double H 1608, we got a lining of cowhide through the top and all around the foot as well, which is much different from what the Dylan is. The Dylan has pigskin leather around the top and a cloth-lined foot. So the downside of pigskin is that it's not as soft, it doesn't breathe as well, and the downside of cloth is also that it doesn't breathe as well and isn't even as close to as durable as cowhide leather is. So I have to say that the inside of these older Double H boots are much better, just for the pure fact that they're using a cowhide liner all around the top and around the foot. Then there is another difference between this and the Double H Dylan on their new boots, is that the newer boots have a removable insole, lots of foam, and even more foam underneath the removable insole. This one doesn't have a removable insole. It's just like a small patch of foam in there, and I prefer a more firm footbed. It just feels better on my foot. If I have too much cushion, my foot gets tired real quick. So I prefer the fact that this one doesn't have as much cushion and it's non-removable. So I have to say that the older Double H boots are better, in my opinion, than the newer boots, the newer USA made boots, I should say, like the Dylan. But that's just me. I'm really happy with this boot, not only the style, but how it's made. Of course, it is a cheaper budget-made boot. The counter isn't super stiff here. You do have a composite heel and some composites on the inside for the footbed, but I'd have to say that there is less composites in this older Double H boot than the newer ones. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
They don't make them like they used to, even here in the USA. But you can still find a few used on websites like eBay. Thank you so much for watching today. Why don't you check out that Double H Dylan video up here if you haven't seen it yet? Or I got a music video down here from Airy Acres. Don't forget to subscribe up here, and I will see you next time. Peace. Have a good one.